Hey guys, welcome to Heart Academy for November 28th, 2016. This is for 7th grade and we are working in equations. So some of you still might be working in the first packet, like which I call equations 1 and equations 2. That video is already posted. I posted I think before the Thanksgiving break. And so you can look at that one if you're still working in that one. And some of you are working on equations 3. So I'm going to do some of these problems for you. But either way, they all work the same, okay? So whether you're in packet 1/2 or in this packet, equations 3, which is actually just a front and back page, these simple one-step equations all work the same way. It's just being able to recognize what kind of problem it is and what to do after it. So looking at the first one here, remember I like to draw my street. Okay, your objective is to get the letter, in this case V, by itself. So, excuse me. What do I need to do in order to get V by itself? I need to move the 8. That's a positive 8. Okay? So remember, I'm going to do the opposite of what I see. Which means I'm subtract 8 on both sides. There you go. So what happens is, that's going to cancel out, leaving you V, 26 minus 8. And that should give you, what? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 25, 67, 28. Okay? So, yeah, I did that one way too bad. 26, and then 26, that's not working. So 18, 19, 20, 23, 25, 6, yep. Okay, 18. So in this case, V equals 18. All right, so for over here, okay, what we have over here is you got to get P by itself. So you got to remove the 3. That's a positive 3, so I'm going to do the opposite of what I see, which is subtract 3. Remember, what you do to one side of the street, you must do to the other. So remember, that cancels out, leaving you 0. We're not going to put the 0, we're just going to put the P. That is now the only thing on this side of the street, which is what we wanted, right? Equal sign comes down, 8 minus 3. This one, answer is 5. Okay, so now let's take a look at number 3. Here you go. There's your street. B is on this side of the street with a 15. That's a positive 15. So, to get B by itself, you got to remove the 15 by doing the opposite of what you see. So, it's a positive 15. I'm going to subtract 15 on both sides. Here you go. That cancels out. 15 minus 15, right? Or positive 15 and a negative 15 cancels out, leaving B, the only thing on this side of the street, which was the point. Okay? And then you do your 23 minus your 15. So, I have to 23 minus 15. You have 8. B is 8. Okay? Now, real quick, like, just while I have your attention, okay? Here's the thing. How do you know if your answer is correct? Easy. First, rewrite the original problem. See that? 15 plus B. Remember, we just said B is 8. So instead of putting B, put 8. So 15 plus 8 equals 23. Is that correct? One way to find out. You have 23 on this side of the street. Oh, let's add these. That's 23. Oh, so I have 23 equals 23. Is that correct? Yes, it is. So I know my answer is correct. B is 8. So remember, with the equations, you can always go back and check your work. Substitute what you found for your answer into the original equation and solve it. If it works out to be equal on both sides, you know you did it correct. I'm not asking you guys to do that now, but you will later. All right, I'm going to move on to another one. Here we go. Now look at this. I have a negative 15 with an N on this side of the street, a negative 9 on that side of the street. A negative 15 minus 15, whatever you want to call it, right? You still need to do the opposite of what you see. So you're going to add 15 to both sides of the street. Negative 15, positive 15 cancels out, leaving the N. Now you have a negative 9 plus 15. Remember, if you don't remember your integer rules, you can always use a calculator. Just make sure you put in exactly how you see it. So it's negative 9, right? So negative 9 plus 15. Make sure our class calculators work. Oh, it does. Okay. So, and then, there you go. The answer would be a positive 6. All right. So let me do a few other ones because these all have been just adding and subtracting so far. And I want to make sure that you understand too that you have ones that are multiplication and division. First, I'd like to point out the difference between the two, though, if you don't mind. Check this out. For example, look at this. This is number 9. Either it's the front or the back. I don't remember which one. Okay? So let me first go back and do another adding or subtracting one. There. You know you have V on this side of the street. You have a minus or negative 15, so that's what you want to get rid of by doing the opposite of what we see, right? So plus 15 on both sides. That cancels out, leaving V. And then you have your negative 27. Negative 27 plus 15. Right? Negative 12. Okay? So what's the difference between a problem that looks like this and one that looks like this? First, let me clear out my work. Notice something. Notice you have a sign in between your letter and your number, right? It's either going to be a plus or a 15 or a negative, right? Notice how this one you don't. There is no sign in between here. See that? Sign. No sign. Sign in between letter and number. No sign in between letter and number. If you see a sign in between, whether it looks like this or like this, okay, or even like this, still a sign in between the number and a letter, all those are adding or subtracting problems. No sign, what does that mean? Yeah, multiplication. This is really saying 8 times x, 8x, 8 times x, 8 times the amount of x. So if you know it's multiplication, in order to get x by itself, you still need to do the opposite of what you see, which is what? Divide. And in class, we practice making division as fractions. So this is how you know when to start dividing instead of adding or subtracting. So remember, what you do to one side of the street, you have to do the other. Also remember too, don't switch signs. It's a positive 8x, right? When we multiply or divide. Okay? Don't switch signs when you multiply or divide. So this is what you have. Remember, I told you that this is going to be, long story short, leaving you x on this side. And now you do the division. Use a calculator if you need to. Negative 104 divided by 8. Negative 104 divided by 8 is negative 13. So in this case, x is negative 13, or negative 13 equals x. Remember too, what I like to do is whatever side you find x on, whatever side of the street, keep it on that side of the street. Don't flip the answer around. Why? Not that important now, but it will be when you start doing inequalities. Trust me. Setting you up for a better math class further down the road. Okay. So, looking at number 12. Again, no sign in between the number and a letter. So I know it means multiplication, so I'll do the opposite of what I see, which is divide. Both sides of the street. So I have now negative 56 divided by 14. Negative 4. Okay? Remember, that's going to cancel out. So B equals negative 4. Last but not least, we have problems that look like this. Problems that have fractions in it. No problem. For this problem. Okay? Remember, fractions mean divide. So to get B by itself, you have to do the opposite of what you see. What's the opposite of division? That's right, multiplication. Multiply by the only number that's on the same side of the street as B. In this case, which is 18. But remember, you still have to do one thing. What you do to one side of the street, you have to do to the other. So if I'm multiplying by 18 on this side, I'm also going to multiply by 18 on this side of the street. Okay? Because remember, fractions mean divide, so you'll do the opposite of what you see. And I was telling you about this. Long story short, trust me. I think my fourth period actually explained this better so they understand why this actually does not mean 18 times 18. What it means is that this is eventually going to cancel out, leaving you just B on this side. Trust me, my other classes, you'll know what I mean by Friday. But for right now, I just want you to get down to process. And then what you have on this side of the street, you have your 18 times negative 6. So 18 times 6, you have your negative 108. Negative 108 equals B. I think I have one more fraction practice that we can do, so another division practice, hopefully, I have on this page. What? I don't. Oh well, guys. Okay, so you know what this means. You're on your own. Okay? So just remember, fractions being division, okay? And so you will do the opposite of what you see, which is multiply. All right, my friends, that is it for this episode of Heart Academy. Enjoy. And remember, you have assignments 1 and 2. Heart Academy videos already posted for those. And this is assignment number 3 for equations. I'll see you tomorrow. Or Wednesday. Whatever. You know we got field trips. See you then.